So there's two-touch football and great shots. Play the way you're facing and pass and move. Now, these concepts, you build them up over a period of time, but ultimately your concepts define the way you play. And watch this again. Play the way you're facing and pass and move. Watch again. Look at the end product here. There's the pop. The concept of playing and passing and moving. Did you see what happened in the inside forward line there? Do you understand the concept of emptying out and filling in? Do you understand that concept? Because there's nothing worse than a full forward standing in there. So if I'm moving out, somebody else has to be coming in. And would you believe, going back with the lads, Owen O'Gara was straight enough to tell us he didn't have a fucking clue what that meant, right? And we put an X, I'll show you this out in the training ground, like that. There's your 4 segments. And so your 2 wing forwards are obviously given more freer roles. And we use constantly moving clockwise, anti-clockwise, switching to opposites, right? And put balls in, and they had to create the angles of runs at them. And very quickly, as he said, this made sense. Now I understand where I have to go. Before, he was running into people or getting in people's way. Now, they're only small little things. So there's the concept of empty out and filling in again, right? So the full forward or corner forward moved out and somebody else comes into that space as a late runner. The concept to switch the play, and I think you can appreciate how long it takes to get these concepts into people's heads. So Molly puts a super ball out to the right, and watch this, the switch the play, it's as good a score as you'll see, all right? So here's my Maggie, that's Freya. So do you see those concepts in action? Now, ultimately, if we see them in action there, it means they're working, okay? So that came from a pile of work, right, repeating, and somebody said also, you only have a certain amount of time with a juvenile team, whatever, and you're spot on, right? So that's why I'm going to keep coming back to you about high skill sets. That is the most important thing that you can pass on to the kids, that you provide them with the ammunition. So when they go up to do this at a different level or a different age, now the only thing, obviously you'll continue to work on your skills, but we got them, and something like, I think Sinead Ahern and who was the second? Nicole Owens was the only 2 people who had 2 feet. I think they were the only people who had 2 feet, right? And I'll tell you a story on that very quickly because this is so important. Gordon Kelly was centre back for Clare when I went down. My dad hurled with Clare and I ended up going down for a year. So I was coming back in the car one evening thinking, we're coming out of the defence way too slow with the ball. And then it dawned on me, Gordon at centre back wasn't kicking the ball. So I rang him and I said to him, Gordon, it's only after hitting me now. I was there 10 weeks. You're not kicking the ball coming out of centre back. No, he says, 10 years ago, Mick, I was told not to kick the ball and I haven't kicked it since. Now, I'm there. I don't know, well, I'm in the car thinking, is he for fucking real, right? I didn't know whether my next phone call should be to Colin Collins or to his mother. But, so I said, okay, Gordon, so that has to change, right? And he says, have you seen me kick? And I said, well, now that you mention it, no. But he scored a point against Sligo in the championship that summer with his left foot. It was the biggest cheer in the dressing room we got all year. Now, talk about a cheer at 36, right? So can it be done? Yeah. Will you be as adept at 36 as you could have been had you started when you were 8 or 9 or 10? No, okay? It'll be more mechanical, but you can do it. Owen O'Gara, on the Friday night before the All-Ireland final in 2013, scored 33 out of the 36-shot challenge. His mother told us at the medal presentation night, it was the first year playing for Dublin where he hadn't got abused by Dublin supporters, by our own, all right? And people would have said O'Gara wasn't able to kick the ball with his right foot, never mind his left foot, and he was the highest scorer in our camp before we went into play. Isn't that fantastic, right? And do you know what? Sometimes they're bigger rewards than any of the rest. And to put that in perspective, I had a young fella on my group whose brother last year played on the senior cup team in Belvedere, last year, the year before. Anyway, he scored. This kid was one of the daisy pickers. You know the daisy pickers, planes going over daisies, right? His father rang me before Christmas and said, we're going for a point. And I said, why? And he says, he's after scoring a point today, Mick, and it wasn't for the opposition. And he was so happy. Like the young fella who had made it for the cup team. No, this was the achievement. This fella had done, and all of a sudden, he was playing the second team, he's enjoying his football. It just dropped. It took, whatever, 12 years, but it dropped. They're achievements, massive achievements. And another one on that, to give you an indication, whatever this was 3 or 4 years ago, I'm trying to remember at this stage, the year I was involved with Clare, I had a kid in Clontarf, that young fella Martin Duffy who played, and his brother Michal, who was 2 years younger than him, but had been born with, he had some mental disability. I can't remember what the condition was, but the poor young fella, he used to come to training, and we got to a final of the league that year, and we played Michal, and we were losing the game, or winning the game by 5 points, and then it was 4 and 3, and you're there, oh no, please. Anyway, we won by a point, thanks be to God, because you know yourself, it's a thin line between being fair, and kids still want to win, and parents still want to win. Anyway, Michal used to get collected by the van on the school days on the Holt Road in Clontarf, and I'd be driving down, and Michal would nearly jump out to say hello. But 4 years ago, after beating Roscommon, his father was from Roscommon, and at the end of the game we walked out in Salt Hill, and I saw him and he saw me, and he ran away. I was thinking, Jesus, what's that about? And next minute he ran back, and he had zipped up his Roscommon jersey covered by a coat to come over to congratulate me. And I thought, wow, that's unbelievable. That's as good a thank you as you'll ever get. That's no medals, so look at the effect we have when we do something, you know, that they don't ever forget that, okay? And nobody's ever going to see that, but that's the power of good people involved in coaching. And I had a guy involved with me for a couple of years with that group, and he came to me once and said, Mick, I'm not able to offer these a whole heap like me. And I was thinking to myself, he's able to go over to a young fella and tell him, you were brilliant. And he was fucking brutal. But he'd go over and say, you were brilliant. I can't do that. Still I can't do it. I still have to withdraw myself. When somebody has a bad game, I leave them, because I know I'll say the wrong thing. I have to give myself time to come down from that, right? He's able to go over and put his arm around them, and they feel so valued by that. So those people are equally important in our setups, okay? I'm going to come back here, but I want you down outside now. I know you've been sitting in here a while with Clean as well, so we're going to get straight down to our skills, all right? You'll enjoy this, so get ready for a little bit of action.